Please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Taylor. I am 34 years old and work as an AAC user advisor with Renfrew Education Services, AAC Everywhere Program. AAC Everywhere is a Saturday community outings-based program for families with a child who uses technology or a communication book to communicate because they cannot use their voice to meet all their communication needs. When I am not working, I love to go out into the community and do many different fun activities. I love adventure, and I am always on the go. Some of my favorite activities include going to the movies, going bowling with my aides, going swimming, and playing bingo. My independence over the years has been possible with the right equipment, including many different speech devices that allow me to communicate with those I come into contact with. Without these speech devices, I would not have been as independent in the community and able to do all of the activities that I love.
How old were you when you got your first communication book or device?
I used a large picture word book until I was about 4 years old. That was when I started on my first computer with an adapted keyboard. Later, I had my computer with speech software mounted onto my wheelchair as a way to communicate with people while out and about in the community. When I was 6 years old, I did a poster for the Technical Resource Center using my first portable speech device. This device was a loaner from Easter Seals Ability Society and was called the Touch Talker. I have had many different devices over the years, and the technology has improved to help me to communicate independently everywhere. Everybody can now hear me. I have a voice, which I have always wanted, and which allows me to be more independent. My speech device has a way of empowering me and allowing me to seize the opportunities of today, including working with AAC Everywhere.
What are some of the different ways you communicate?
I often start by using my human voice. I can verbalize most of what I want for a good listener, but I have a unique accent that takes time to learn. When listeners do not understand what I am trying to say, I have many different backup ways of communicating. For example, I can use my speech device. I can sometimes spell things out. I will use hand signs. I can point and act things out. I can use the power of the internet to do a YouTube or a Google search to show people what I am talking about, or I can creatively describe things like a game of charades. I can sometimes say all kinds of things with just a look. Having a lot of different ways to communicate allows me the ability to find the one way to communicate that works in every situation. Sometimes it's a lot of trial and error, and I end up using several different ways of communicating until I find the one that works. But in the end, I get my point across and I am understood. So the effort is worth it.
What are some of the ways technology has improved your life?
There are many different ways that technology has improved my life and increased my independence. The first that comes to mind is around transit access. Before, I would need to have someone come and book all my trips for me as I struggle to communicate effectively over the phone. I once tried to call transit access on my own, and the individual that answered ended up hanging up on me. This was very frustrating as I am independent and want to be able to do things myself and not rely on others. Now I can book and manage all of my trips on their interactive website. I am able to book times, decide where I want to go, and even cancel trips without having to call. This technology allows me the ability to manage my transportation on my own With everything going on in the world right now, I have found many new technologies that have improved my life and knowledge, like Microsoft Teams or Zoom. Zoom has given me the ability to communicate with friends and family during a time where I cannot physically see them or go outside. It allows me to be social and to work online with people in this time of physical distancing. I also use Skype, Instagram, and FaceTime to keep in touch.
What makes someone a good communication partner?
A good communication partner for me is someone who does not give up when the first form of communication I try doesn't work. Sometimes people get frustrated and walk away, or talk over me when they don't understand me right away. I find I also get frustrated. I am always willing to put in the effort to communicate effectively with them, and I hope that my listener is able to put in the same amount of effort to understand me. It can sometimes take several minutes for me to communicate to someone the exact words I want to use. Therefore, they need to have patience and put in the effort. Enjoy the game of charades here and understand the words I am trying to say. It can be a long process, but when we finally both get to the right word, it feels great, and we both feel a sense of accomplishment. Another quality of a good communication partner is someone who allows me to say what I want to say and doesn't assume they already know what I am trying to say. They check in with me to make sure we are on the same page.
What advice can you share with kids who are learning to use communication devices?
My advice to kids who are learning to use communication devices is it takes time. Over the years, I have learned many ways of communication, but they don't come easy and they take practice. Just as listeners need to have patience, you need to have patience with yourself when you learn something new. Communication devices can be very frustrating. They can break, and sometimes they don't turn on or off when you are trying to speak. But don't give up just because you are frustrated. Being able to communicate is worth all the frustration.
What advice can you share with parents of children who are learning to use a communication device?
For individuals such as myself, learning how to communicate takes more time and patience than it might for others. Communication is a very important skill, and it will take time for your children to learn the art of communicating effectively. It has taken me years of trial and error to get to the point where I have a lot of different backup ways of communication and can mostly get my point across even if it takes a while. Your children will get frustrated, so please be patient and supportive of the learning process. Don't give up and remember to have fun. Sometimes miscommunication can make everyone laugh. So rather than getting frustrated, try to see the humor in the situation.
Dare you!